Hey everyone, what's up? This is Kirsten here. Welcome back to the next episode of the Balanced Vibes podcast. Today's podcast is another Q&A podcast, just like I promised you last time, if you're listening. And we are talking about a couple of different things. We're talking about alcohol, we're talking about food tracking, and we are also talking about losing gains when you cannot work out for a little while for one reason or another. But before we get to those questions that I, by the way, get from my DMs, I get them from conversations that I have with my one-on-one clients. I get them just sometimes. I have a friend asking me a question. So I get inspiration from a lot of places. But if you want to submit your question, make sure that you send me an Instagram DM or you email me or you drop a comment on YouTube if this is where you're watching. And so I can answer your question on the show too. But before I jump into today's questions, I want to remind you that this weekend only, I have a really amazing offer for you. Today is Saturday, and this offer is good for only 2 more days. And this offer is one-time macro calculation done for you. Okay, so it's going to be an individualized macro calculation, and it's called the Macro Basics Bundle. Okay, what does this Macro Basics Bundle include? It includes, like I said, one-time macro calculation. So whether you have never tracked your macros before, but you are interested, this is going to be a perfect fit for you. But it's also going to be for somebody who maybe has tracked, but is not sure that the numbers are right. So if you listen to the episode where I talked about online calculators, then sometimes you may get totally weird numbers that don't work for you. So maybe you want somebody to take a look at your numbers and see if what you're doing is actually right for you. So what I need from you is, after you have signed up, I'm going to send you a questionnaire with a lot of detailed questions, and I want you to provide as detailed answers as possible, because the more details you give me, the better plan I can create for you. So this is one part of this bundle. Another part is instructions how to log your food if you have not used the tracker yet, how to start logging your food, and a couple of instructional videos why you should be how you should be weighing your foods and not using volumes and not using cups, tablespoons, teaspoons, but actually weigh your food. So I have a couple of instructional videos for that. Also, as a special bonus, there is a workout guide. So it's called the Fit Physique Formula Workout Guide. And this is a 4 days a week strength training guide that will help you to get to your goal faster. And also what is included is a quick guide on how to adjust your macros to keep seeing your progress. So this is not going to be week by week adjustments, something that I may do with my one-on-one clients. This is the basic guidelines for you, what to do if you maybe have stuck or if you don't know how to move on. So it's going to be simple guideline for that. So make sure that you sign up for this bundle. It's only for this weekend, literally 3 days only, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, or until I have spots. Okay, but now moving on to today's questions. And like I said, there are 3 questions that I'm going to address today. And the first one is, how much alcohol can I drink and still reach my goals? Okay, so alcohol is a tricky subject because most people, I guess I can say most people like a little bit of alcohol once in a while, but we also have to know that if we have too much of it, then it can definitely slow our progress down. And there are a couple of reasons for it. The first reason, and this is something that most people are familiar with, is that alcohol does have a lot of calories in it. So it doesn't provide you any nutrition, right? But it does give you calories, and that's why it's called your empty calories. So let's say that you have a glass of wine, and it depends on how much you pour in that glass. You can be having, anywhere between 100 to maybe even 250 calories that didn't actually provide you any nutrition. And of course, a lot of times people say that, yeah, but red wine is, it's healthy for you, it's great for you. I mean, yeah, in small amounts, it's fine, but it's also not a health food. It's not something that you cannot live without or you cannot get to your health goals without. So that's one of the things. Alcohol just has a lot of calories in it. And that just means that if you're tracking your calories, you're tracking your macros. And when you're drinking a lot of alcohol, then you're not getting enough food. You're not giving your body enough useful calories, useful nutrition. The other thing is that when we drink alcohol, then our bodies get to work fast to eliminate this alcohol from the body because alcohol is toxic. And we may feel like it's relaxing, it helps me to go to sleep, it's great, then the body doesn't see it that way. It actually wants to get rid of it quickly. So your liver gets to work, it wants to get rid of it, and so there's less resources that go towards actually absorbing your nutrition and also burning the calories that come from food, because the body is busy with getting rid of the alcohol first. So it always prioritizes that. It gets the first attention from the body, and that's the second reason why having too much alcohol too frequently can slow your weight loss down. And the other reason is that a lot of times it messes with our sleep. And I know sometimes people say, no, it actually puts me to sleep. I sleep better when I drink a little bit. Honestly, you never sleep quite as deeply as you were without drinking alcohol. And so even if you may feel like it, at the end of the day, it's not a good idea. And also, if your sleep is worse because of you've been drinking, you probably make worse food choices the next day. A lot of people notice that when they don't sleep well, they're just craving more things. They're craving more carbs, but just more calories in general. And it's so much harder to make good choices when you haven't slept well. So these are the reasons why alcohol can slow down your progress a little bit. That doesn't mean though that you can never drink. I like my drinks too. I like a glass of, a little margarita or a little bit of tequila, sometimes wine. There's nothing wrong with that, but it should really be maybe like once a week thing, and maybe two glasses a week. But if it becomes like more than that, then it's definitely one thing that can hold you back from getting the results that you want to get. The second question I want to talk about today is, why are some foods so addictive? And to be honest with you, I don't think that there are addictive foods. I think it's more about the relationship that we have with certain foods. And we can tell ourselves that, no, or you can tell that, no, you don't understand. I really am addicted to chocolate, or I am addicted to ice cream, or I am addicted to bread. But I would argue that the foods that we restrict the most are the most quote unquote addictive. So let me give you an example. So I had a period of time in my life when I really struggled with binge eating. And that was because I was so restrictive. I never allowed myself to eat the things that I really wanted. And for me, those foods are usually, chocolate and nuts and cheese. These are maybe the main things. Honestly, a lot of sweet things, ice cream probably too. And I always thought that I just can't have them, because if I have them, I'm going to gain weight and I'm going to get fat and all that. And so I really restricted them. And of course, I was also in Weight Watchers where, anything like high fat was a no-no, so I could never have that ice cream. But then it came to a point where I was feeling so deprived that I ate everything that I had in my kitchen. And so that's why it felt like I'm addicted to it, because I was so deprived and I just could not stop once I started eating it. And that was actually the issue. And now I don't have the problem anymore, because I have plenty of stuff in my cabinet. I have plenty of chocolate, I have cookies, I have all kinds of things. And most days I have a little bit of it. Maybe I have like a piece of something, maybe I have two pieces of something. But my relationship with that food is not addictive anymore. It's not addictive because I am allowing myself to have those things. So maybe think about, what are those things that you think are addictive, and see if you may be restricting them really hard. And this is actually the issue. And the way you start sort of recovering from that is that you start actually exposing yourself to those things. You start having a little bit and then eat it slowly and see how that feels. And that's also like a really cool thing about macronutrition. That's something that's really surprising for a lot of people when they start using macronutrition, is that they ask me, what do you mean I can actually have that thing? Like, really? And I'm like, yeah, you can have that thing. You can have that chocolate because it fits into your day. It fits into your diet. Like, having some chocolate or ice cream is a perfectly healthy way of eating. It's a perfectly healthy part of a healthy diet. What is not healthy is restricting to yourself to the point where you feel like you have to binge on that food and you think that you are addicted to this food. Of course, it's not to say that there's no foods that make you want to more of it. So for example, if you have a couple of potato chips, you likely want to have more than that. Or, everybody has a little bit different things. So for me, for example, it's cashews. When I have a few, I want to eat more of them. So I just have to tell myself that, okay, I'm going to practice some portion control here. I'm going to put it in a plate, or I'm going to weigh it out, and this is what I'm going to have. So I can still have that thing. It's just that I'm not going to have it in huge quantities. And because I'm not saying like 100% no to this thing, this thing does not become addictive and I'm not going to binge on it. So I hope that makes sense to you. And the last question that I got actually from one of my clients was about strength training and how quickly do you lose gains when you cannot train for a little while. So she had a minor surgery, nothing too big, but big enough so that she had to rest about 10 days. And then even after that, she couldn't start doing the same workouts that she did previously. And she told me that I'm actually so happy that it's not more than 2 weeks, because I've heard that after 2 weeks, my gains will absolutely go away. And this is not true. I had to tell her that, okay, we're going to chill, we're going to calm down. It's not true that your gains are going to go away in just 14 days. And a lot of it depends on like, what have you been doing before? And she has been strength training regularly for about 5 months now. Before that too, but then she had a little bit of break, and now she's been really consistent for about 5 months. So do we really believe that what we have built in 5 months will go away in 2 weeks? This is just not going to happen. And that's because strength training is really awesome. It builds up your metabolism. This is something that I talk about so much on this podcast. And then when your metabolism is strong and flexible, you're not going to lose your gains super quickly. You're not going to gain a ton of weight just because you cannot do the workouts that you would normally do. Everything will be fine. Of course, if this goes on for a long time, maybe like several months, then of course you start losing some of the gains. But it's not true that in 2 weeks, everything you have accomplished so far is just going to go away. So a couple of months ago, actually, I had a foot injury myself too. I fell on a skateboard and really hurt my foot. And then I couldn't do any lower body strength training at all. And I was out for 4 weeks, and then I still couldn't do things well. Then I started walking a little bit more, and it was about 8 weeks maybe when I started doing a little bit more strength training for my lower body too. And then after about 10 weeks, it was the time when I felt, okay, I'm really good. I can do pretty much what I did before. But during this 10-week period, I didn't notice significant change. And that's because I had been strength training, and that's because I have a strong and flexible metabolism. Now, when you compare that to somebody who uses mostly cardio to control their calories, then it may go a little bit differently. So let's say that you're running every single day to burn 500 calories, and now one day you hurt your foot or you had a surgery, you cannot run. So you're not spending those 500 calories that you used to spend every single day, right? So now it's more likely that you will gain some weight, right? So that you will lose some of your progress. But if you have been strength training, if you have built a lot of muscle, if you have built up a flexible metabolism, then small breaks like that are not going to impact you in a huge way. And this is not to tell you that, you should just like take several weeks off just because and not do anything. No, I'm talking about when things happen that kind of make you take a break. You're forced to take a break. You'll be fine. But in general, of course, you got to be consistent. You have to train regularly to see the results, short-term and then long-term results too. It's really important that you stick with it. And that's why your diet and your exercise plan has to be something that you can do for the rest of your life. So maybe it is 3 workouts a week. That's perfect. Maybe it's 4 if you can do it. That's great. But if your plan is something really extreme that has you do like 2 or 3 workouts a day every single day of the week, which, by the way, I have heard about plans like that, then this is absolutely not doable. It's going to be really exhausting, and I don't know anybody who has done anything like that for a long time. So you don't have to overtrain yourself. Just keep up the good workouts, 3, 4, 5 days a week, strength training, plenty of walking, and if you have to take a short break for whatever reason, you will absolutely be fine. So these are my thoughts for you today. I hope it was helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. Send them to my email or Instagram DMs, or drop them on YouTube, wherever is most convenient to you. Also, don't forget about the one-time macro calculation, the basic macros program that I have this weekend only. So it will close on Sunday, and I'm not sure when it's coming back again, if it's coming back again. I don't know that yet. So if you've been wanting to know what your personalized macros should look like, sign up, because this plan is customized for you. However, there will be no coaching, there will be no calls, no group support, anything like that. You're on your own. You get to try this out on your own, but you will have your customized macros that are designed for you based on your lifestyle, based on your strength, and based on your goals. So sign up for that if you're interested. And thank you so much for listening. I will see you again next week. Bye bye.